Hey everyone, Greg here. As you may know by now, I'm the co-founder and CEO of TripShock, an online reseller for water sports and tours. For the past 12 years, we've had the pleasure of working with hundreds of operators across the country, and we're looking to grow our community. It's free to sign up, and you only pay when we bring you confirmed bookings. We'll help you reach new customers, fill empty seats, and grow your business like so many have done with us over the years. Head over to partners.tripshock.com to learn more about our program, read testimonials, or speak directly with our supply team. As always, thank you for listening and enjoy the show.
They come to relax, enjoy the beach, have fun, and spend money. And that's where we come in. This is the Awkward Watersport Guys podcast. Find out tips on the best ways to market and operate a water sports business. If you're a water sports operator, you need to grow your brand, operate more safely, upgrade your operations, and of course, increase bookings. We're industry veterans, broadcasting from Destin, Florida. This is the Awkward Watersport Guys podcast. And this is Kevin O'Neill and Greg Fisher.
Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 43 of the Awkward Watersport Guys podcast. Today we're going to be talking about unethical SEO and black hat business practices.
Yeah, you said that backwards. You said unethical SEO and black hat business practices, but I don't know. I guess it could be hand in hand. It's the same thing, I suppose.
Yeah.
No.
Before we get started, though, I'm going to bust you up a little bit on something.
Me?
Yeah. I'm going to bust your balls a little bit. So I got an email from TripAdvisor, just like one of those top 10. Let me pull this thing up here. Top 10. Okay. I got it, about 2 hours ago. It says, here are the best things to do in the U.S. And I click it. See the list? Did you get this link?
Maybe.
The number one thing to do, according to TripAdvisor, in the United States is one of Justin Buzzy's Get Up and Go kayak tours of Shell Key Preserve in Tampa Bay area.
I saw him make that post. Like I didn't.
He did, but that was the best things to do in Tampa. This is top overall experiences in the United States, and he's number 4 in the world.
That's crazy. Yeah, I looked at his rankings. It was
and then when I messaged him, I said, "Yeah, man, congrats on that." And then he said, "And look at the whole list. Kevin's not even on there."
Is that what he said?
That's his response. That's what he said.
Dude, yeah, that's pretty good, man. I'm going to come out with a fucking top 10 list myself. It's going to be a top 10 list of people that's going to get their asses kicked at Arrival. And fucking MC Buzzy is going to be fucking number 1 on that one, too. That's fucking awesome, dude. Yeah, top number 1. Number 1 fucking number 1. He's there. That's fucking hilarious, dude. Oh man. So I guess he caught the episode then when I was saying like he was making shit up about. No, that's really fucking cool, dude. Like I don't know how they come up with that. I have to assume his reviews are stupid on there. So he's got like 1,500 reviews and one bad one. I'm like, what the fuck? How the hell do you do that, man? Some stellar service, great guides. Like he's doing it right. Anyway, come on,
that
dude.
is pretty.
I don't want
to
to fucking keep on talking about this guy, man. Jesus fucking Christ! It's like our top 5 friends on the show. It's Justin Buzzy, Steve from Amp Agency, who we talk about, Shane Whaley from Tourpreneur. We're the most like weird inside clique. There's like 9 of us in it. Anyway, so somebody else is going to make that group today because that's where the inspiration from the show came from. Some happenings in the Facebook group. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if people want their shit put on blast. So I'm not going to say anybody's name or whatever, but a guy got and we've all had this happen to us, so a guy had somebody come out and the whole people just 4 people, 5 people from the group gave him a bad review, and we all know this sucks, and no one ever does it for the good, right? You never get 8 people go on from one group and I'll give you a fucking 5-star review. It's always the weaponization of reviews, which I fucking hate. And maybe we can talk about that on another show. But I did find out who the person was because in the group he was like, yeah, the reviewer was like, I have a rental too. So I was like, well, this shouldn't. So I did a little bit of internet sleuthing, and I found that person, and I found their company, and that person had 17 reviews. And I was like, dude, I would fucking chop this woman to pieces. She would wake up with 117 reviews tomorrow. They would be 100 bad ones and 17 good ones. Yeah, and then I would just fucking bring her down to a 0.00, you know, because I think that's horseshit. So that falls under the realm of unethical business practices and a little bit of black hattish if you go and cut your competitors up. And there's a bunch of shit you can do to beat up your competitors. So I think there's some you have white hat, right? When you talk about SEO, which is like good guy, true, like real backlinking and getting, you know, traffic to your website. You have like, there's some like gray hat stuff where arguably if you're paying an SEO guy to, you know, write blogs for you and get them on websites, while it's still white hat, it's almost like to Google, that might be great hattish because they don't want you trying to manipulate their algorithm. And then you have straight up black hat SEO, which is like using like micro workers to generate like a stronger click-through rate, or back in the day, it used to be like link farming, which can now really get you fucked up. Actually, in fact, there's another black hat practice that involves actually using those backlink farms to create like a shitload of toxic backlinks. I mean, so there's been unethical business practices since the dawn of business and competition in business, right, Greg?
Yeah, and before we get started, this show is not about using these. This show is about what has been used in the past.
Well, it wasn't until you fucking told me what Justin did. Now I'm right there. How did I got 40 bad TripAdvisor reviews?
Justin's probably sweating right now. What did I get myself into?
No.
But anyways, no, this show is just about understanding like what is out there. And we're also going to talk about how to kind of protect yourself from these things, or, you know, what do you do in these situations? Kevin, I'm going to open it up because I did think about this. And there's one thing in particular that I think everyone has talked about and not enough is done to really understand how to beat it. And that's people clicking on your paid ads. And I got a really great story that I'm going to share. So back maybe 6-7 years ago, we had an ad campaign set up, and I always would see a lot of clicks from the same destination with one specific campaign. And you always can see these anomalies because there's a ton of clicks and no conversions when you have a really great product, when you're expecting things to convert. And Google's really done a lot with GDPR, so you can't see the IP address, but we can actually see the IP addresses. So we took the IP address of that user and we plugged it in, and it led right to a competitor business, someone who wasn't selling on TripShock, but sold a similar product. And they basically were going on there and clicking on ads.
Like how much? How much were they?
I mean, almost every day they were doing a lot, but I mean, it was a small, at the time, it was a small percent of budget, but it was literally at that point, it was just, they were just being vicious. I mean, it was bitter, vicious. And it's not like we turn a lot of people away that want to join, but it's just, that's just how they felt at the time. So I was upset about the whole thing. I'm like, but unless at the large scheme of things, I got bigger problems to face, and it's only maybe costing us $5 to $10 a day. But I mean, it does add up. The easy thing to do was to just block them. And that's what we did. So we put their IP. You can actually block an IP address on Google AdWords, or most ad programs. They allow, they have a block list feature. And that was the quick. And a lot of people don't realize that you can do that. You can block IP addresses that are clicking on your ads. And you can even go more than that. You can geo-target things. And I always recommend splitting up campaigns to have a national campaign and then a local campaign, because that really helps you understand where majority of your business is coming from. It gives you greater control of your campaigns. But that was the quick solution. Now there are programs like, I'm not endorsing them, but there's a company called ClickSeize that integrates into Google AdWords. You probably got 100 ads from them because they do like to retarget people who have Google Ads accounts. And they hook in, and they're supposed to be able to prevent click fraud. But a lot of people don't realize that Google has click fraud prevention tools already built in to their software. So people that are clicking on your ads 100 times, they're not going to pay. You're not going to pay each time someone clicks on the ad. It's only going to register so many times per session and IP address. That is just if you know of competitor, or like if there's an IP range of places that you know that maybe a competitor is at and you might feel like he's clicking on your ads, then you can add that blacklist. It's funny. I remember I bought something from a t-shirt manufacturer. I bought like a bunch of t-shirts for the company, and I clicked on an ad, and then I went back like an hour later, clicked on the ad again because it was the easiest way for me to get to that company. And this big pop-up came up, and it said, "Do not click on our ads more than once. We know who you are." Like, they just assumed I was a competitor. It was the most tackiest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, come on.
Dude, I fucking black-hatted myself like 3 nights ago. I clicked on my own ad accidentally. I was like looking at something, and I was, cause I was thinking I was like looking at something with my GMB, and then, they run that ad where you have an ad in the GMB that your ad shows up in the GMB. I fucking clicked on it. I was like, "Oh, Kevin, you fucking idiot. Like, I can't believe you just fucking clicked on your own ad."
It is so petty to click on your competitors' ads. It is extremely petty.
That's weak sauce anyway, man. That's bullshit, because like once, you can get them like every day, or maybe try and hit them from like separate devices or something. But generally, like if you click on that ad once and then search again, like maybe for Trip Shock it might be different, but if you have limited products, like that ad's probably not going to trigger again for the same IP address, will it? If you're running if you were to put in the same search term or close to, I don't think they do.
No, it has a really good algorithm for like finding people clicking on ads. And I actually tested situations where I clicked on my own ads, like an incognito window, clicked on it again, it only registered 1 click. So they're pretty good about not like recharging your business for like multiple clicks. It's gotten a lot smarter.
So how else can we learn to fuck up our competitors, man, illegally? Come on. You're the guy that was doing this shit like 10 years ago, man, sitting in your room parking on Facebook ads and all sorts. Hey, remember back in the day, like people would hide like SEO, they would hide text like behind pictures, and they just, because Google, the way they crawled, it was so rudimentary and basic that you could just put like, you could hide text, like have like a blue background and then the same blue text, right? Fucking your keywords like 1,000 times or whatever. And apparently that actually worked at one point in time with Google.
Yeah, a lot of things worked. If we're talking about, things that can hurt your business, or stuff that I've seen competitors do. One thing I've seen is, I've seen our links show up on link farms. And a link farm is basically websites that have hundreds and thousands of links on there, and they've used them in the past.
Do you think that one of your competitors did that, or maybe were you paying somebody at some point who didn't know what they were doing and they got you in a link farm?
No, I don't think a competitor's done it, and I'm not saying that it's done now, but it could happen. These are things that people that are really slimy, they will throw like their competitors' links on pages to bring them down.
Yeah,
these link farms, and link farms bring them down. And here is the solution to fixing that. So,
well, wait, we should explain. Not everybody listening is good. So, like a link farming is like, it used to be a practice of back in the day where you could ostensibly get like all of these backlinks. Like you could put all of these backlinks like at one time. You get like 40,000 backlinks or something like that, and they would put them all like it was like a piece of software, and it would basically distribute the link back to your site to all of these basically just shit websites, like websites that had no domain authority whatsoever, but it was like a sheer numbers game. And when Google realized that this was happening, like through one of their updates, like now they penalize people that try and get backlinks through link farming. So now, in a bizarrely twist of fate, if you really want to fuck somebody up, you could potentially, but that could also backfire. That could also backfire on you, because even for a little bit, that could, like, Google might not recognize it and give your competitors a bunch of juice for it. Eventually they will, and they'll come down. But some people have been known to do that, throw you into a link farm, give you your website a bunch of shitty, bad, fraudulent, toxic backlinks, and it would be bad for your company, your website.
Yeah. So what we do at TripShock is everyone should have access to Google Search Console. And Google Search Console is very similar, kind of similar to analytics in a way, but it helps you manage your search presence and gives you a lot of data on that. So there's a tool in Search Console that allows you to disavow certain links. So if you see your link on a web page, let's say your website came up on a porn site or something, like some random place, you can actually disavow that link so it doesn't pass that negative value to your site. And this is a process that we go through almost every quarter. We look through all the links that are coming to TripShock and we disavow a lot of them. We get put on like really crappy sites that are not relevant to us. And it's not about quantity, it's about quality of backlinks coming to your page. Remember that, just because somebody offered to put your link on there doesn't mean that you need to jump up and down every single time. Like, you need quality backlinks. You need backlinks coming from high authority pages or just not like really shitty sites. So going through that, I mean, if you don't know how to do it, talk to your marketing company, your ad agency or whatever that handles your Google Search Console and disavow links, because there was one link that was absolutely destroying because they had hundreds of pages and our link was on the footer. So we're talking like thousands of really shitty backlinks. We got rid of that backlink and the page that it was sending to immediately gained value. So this wasn't something that someone was doing, maliciously. It was just sometimes your links get put on crappy websites and you have to understand that, they affect your rank and you got to look at them.
All right. So here's going to be one. Just close to home, man. Like, get ready for this. I know you're going to be biased, but going after your competitors' brands, bidding on their brand name. Gray hat? I wouldn't say it's black hat. I'd say it's probably a little grayish.
Black hat. The issue is that everyone's going to do it regardless.
Oh, you are way too.
Everyone's going to do it.
You're way too good of a person to fucking use that as a. and even when you looked up, you knew that was the weakest argument. Everyone's
going to do it regardless. I mean, even if you don't use you see this in reservation tech all the time. You Google like Fair Harbor, right? And then the next
every business does it. Yeah.
Using Fair Harbor ? Try Peak instead. I see that a lot. So it's always happening, and there's no one. But yeah, it is definitely gray. But if they're doing it to you, then you should probably be doing it to them.
So business to business, I can see something like that. But I think business to customer, and I do it. I don't do it to people I know. But I think it's because I've had it happen where people were like, oh, you're not company C. And I was like, no, we're better, and then I'll try and close them or whatever. But if you have a customer that's unaware, and then because I've had that happen, they're like, oh yeah, we're at your spot 5 miles away, and I'm like, what? I'm like, no, we're here. And they're like, oh, you're not this company? And I'm like, dude, do you have eyes? Did you read? You had to go through so many steps to book this online. I don't know how you ended up not knowing that this was your company. But I think that sometimes too, because there's some people who put their competitors in their your negative your negative keywords. So there's some people that will actually put their competitors because they don't see them as being like a qualified lead, because you don't want somebody clicking on your ad thinking that you're company A. That's exactly who they want to do business with. They did a direct search. They land on your website and you're like, oh, you're not company A. I've done that before, clicking on an ad. And I'm like, oh, that's not the company I want. And then I back out and I go find the company. Wasted ad spend. So I think before you go and do that, you should probably know your market well enough to know if that's, because then you can just look at those keywords too and see if they're not converting, then I mean, what's the fucking point? But regardless, so that's, I guess gray headish.
Well, when it gets black, I'll tell you, it goes more black when you actually use the competitor's name in the ad copy, and you don't specify what the person, let's say that I'm searching for Joe's Parasail, and then I see an ad for Destiny Water Adventures, but it actually says Joe's Parasail Tours, click here, and then it goes to you. Like, you have to be transparent of what the person's clicking on and not, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've seen ads where the ad copy said, you know, the company's name, they click it, and it's actually a different company.
So now in a different sense, this is more organic, but I saw a company one time that mentioned their competitor in their, I wouldn't say ad copy, I guess it's ad copy, but it was in the site, and it was like, don't go to company X because they charge booking fees. And I thought that was ridiculous. I was like, man, this customer might have landed on your site and they didn't even know who company X was. And now they're like, oh, let's at least go look at company X. You know, like a lot of people always feel that price is like the bottom line, but you know, if somebody's charging a booking fee and you have a comparable service, and they might be better. So I've always thought that was kind of like, again, it sort of falls into stealing I mean, you would know better than I would, but I mean, so do you think like,
I just think transparency
couldn't that backfire?
I just think transparency is number one thing. If you're, let's say you using your competitor's brand as a search term and they search it and then they see your ad, as long as the ads, you're transparent about the ad. Like I know a lot of tour companies use TripShock as one of their search keywords, and because a lot of people search TripShock to do things locally, and it doesn't bother me. But if the ad said, you know, book here on TripShock, click it, and then it's someone else's website, then it's very misleading. And that's when it crosses the line for me. You know, if they're going to click on an ad that says a product, it needs to go to that product, right? So, but again, we don't dig in anymore. It's like, we do so much advertising that only unless it's like a really good partner of ours, we have a talk with them, but I don't really have this.
So what are some other shitty things you can do? Now, I know this has been done. I don't know if it's been done to me. I've seen a lot of other companies accuse other companies of doing this, writing bad reviews against your competitors.
Oh.
And I've seen it happen. I just had it happen to me for the first time. It was not my competitor though. I will say that. I know it wasn't my competitor because we're friends and we're in the same area, and they mentioned their name, but I've had people where they're like, you shouldn't go with company A, you should go with company B. And then the management's response was like, you work for company B. And I was just like, oh shit, man. But so that's pretty black hattish.
I mean, usually it's employees,
right?
Departing employees that go on there and trash reviews and everything. You know, one of the things that really gets me about reviews is that for some reason, obviously they live forever online. But for example, when you Google TripShock reviews, like the 4th, 5th position is this horrible review of a customer that had like a bad experience. And this review literally has not gone away for like 6 or 7 years. And there's nothing we can do to remove it or anything. It's just there. And it's nothing to do with like unethical black hat stuff. I'm kind of getting off topic a little bit, but it's hard to remove things. It's just hard to move on. And then no matter what you do, it's like trying to get these things filtered out is hard.
Yeah. So if you really want to fuck your competitor, very unethically put a black mark against his soul. Yeah, man, I'm going to double Justin Buzzy's bad reviews on Tripify. I'm going to go get them right now. I'm typing away as we speak, you little fucker. Okay. So there's that. So obviously but I mean, this shit has been done. Like, this is not like something like we're making up. Like, this has been done. People do this shit. Like, it happens. You know, with the review thing, and I'll get off topic a little bit on this because it's a pet peeve of all of ours, is the weaponization of reviews.
Did you say though, when an employee leaves and does that, and you can actually tie them to that, I mean, are they crossing any legal boundaries with that?
No.
I mean, is it libel?
Libel? No, because it's like the same thing because of the anti-slap laws that are in place in most states, that anybody can go and they can fucking say whatever they want. And people have asked in the group, you know, they've been like, oh, how would you deal with this? And then in the initial, like, what coming out, that's what one of our people in the group, they're like, you know, what would you do? And somebody came out and was like, oh, I'd fucking sue them and I'd do this and I'd do that. And I'm just like, I mean, you can't help it go through your mind because like some of us are review crazy, you know, we're like, oh God, one bad review.
But it's one thing though to write a bad review based on an experience. Like, customer goes out out. They're pissed off because they got charged damages. They feel they're in the wrong. I mean, they actually, for like an employee or a competitor that you can tie back that are just literally making something up to hurt your business, because it's not easy to quantify it, but I'm sure there might be some mechanism to quantify what a bad review costs the business. And if someone just goes up, makes something up, that's different than just a bad customer experience. This is someone making something up to
I think you
business.
So listen, I had a buddy who went through it, and it was like there was like 6 or 7 people that went on his companies, not non-water sports, but he sued them. He fucking went after him for like $500,000, and it went to court, and he fucking lost, and he was just like, I was like, oh, how's that go? And he's like, fucking terrible. And they didn't even get the reviews taken down. It was on Facebook, and it was like this lady's friend. She got like 6 or 7 of her friends to get on there and fucking start trashing the hell out of his company. So it's really hard. It's really hard to beat that. So that's a real shitty thing to do. I don't necessarily know there was one I saw that I thought was actually really cool that somebody built. It was like a program where he was using micro workers to crawl your site for like X amount of dollars per month to bump your CTR, so your click-through rate, and using micro workers like all over the world to go to your website and boost your SEO value by using micro workers. So whatever, he paid them a nickel or whatever it was, and then charged you $2,000 a month to use his service. And I watched the whole experience. Like, he started it in like beta, and then like started the entire company like right up until that point for like a year. I was watching him build his little black hat SEO company. So when you do something like that, like obviously it's unethical, but you're not hurting anybody. You're not hurting anybody else's business, but you are gaming the system. So in a situation like that, if you're gaming Google to raise your click-through rate, is it black hat? Is it unethical? Oh man, the wheels are grinding on this one.
I'm not saying it's ethical, but I'm not saying it's unethical. I don't know.
Well, because it's like getting backlinks. It's buying backlinks, which everybody does.
Well, it's very similar to the Amazon stores. What do they call it? Brushing or something?
Where they get all those fucking fake reviews, those like thousands of crazy fake reviews. They make
orders, fake orders, and then just to get reviews. I mean, just think about it. Let's say that you are a brand new business and you're in a very competitive market. You're on an OTA with a lot of business in your category. Couldn't you hypothetically get a bunch of friends and family to make a reservation, then cancel it, and to get a review on there?
On an OTA's website? Who the fuck would do that?
I don't know.
This is the most thing that you just told all your people to do.
But I'm just saying that I know if they
fucking make bookings.
I'm not telling you to go to my OTA and do it. If you did it to my OTA, I would stop you from that. We would catch you.
I'm a dumb motherfucker, man. You didn't have to do all that. You could just had them write them on Google for free. Minus booking charges.
That's for Google, but I'm talking like if you're in a competitive market and you need reviews in order to gain ranking, like on OTA, like as an OTA or any other reseller, you would need, you need customers to buy, and maybe your product's not going to get a lot of reviews. I'm just saying.
I know how those OTAs
Amazon
work. If I want ranking, I'm just be like, I'll give you another 5%. Up to the top I go. Hey, fuck all that hard shit.
Yeah. So, but I'm saying that's what they.
Who would do that? Who would fucking do that? Like,
I don't know who would do that.
TripAdvisor, you don't have to do any of that. You know what I mean? Like, no. They've made it weird, and the way it's not so much. And you
probably don't have to do it. But I'm just saying on Amazon, that's happening right now in order to get your. It's not, that's 100%.
Yeah, no, and I've heard of that. I've heard of something where they generate all of these fake reviews, because I don't even know. Do you have to buy something to review it on Amazon? I don't think you have to actually buy it. I could be wrong, but I've definitely, like, all right, when you look at a company's profile that's got like 4,000 reviews, and I haven't done it personally, but I've never gone down a rabbit hole even researching it, but I have heard that through the grapevine, that if you get down through like the 1,500th one or the 1,000th, when you start getting real deep into them, that's all nonsensical, or that they're like that it's like AI script or whatever, and it's just going in there and it's like grandma's coffee wooden chair table. Like, it's just literally a complete nonsense. Ipsum, dipsum, you know, just fucking fragmented letters, nothing. So I've heard that. But so is that really black hat-ish, or is that just, see, I think it falls under gray hat. I think gaming the system, gaming CTRs, gaming reviews is a little bit like more into the black hat, I think, category, depending how it's done, you know, but so we got that.
Okay, let's go to OTAs.
Set some OTAs and pay per click. No kidding.
No, okay, let's go to okay. When it comes to
setting someone's boat on fire.
No. So there's two things that I've witnessed when it comes to like partners that have tried to take advantage of the partnership. One is getting bookings, canceling them, and then rebooking them direct.
Welcome to the what do they call that? Fucking churn.
Churn.
not black hat. Hey, listen.
We're talking about unethical stuff. I mean, I would think that falls under unethical.
I don't know, man. I don't know, black hat. I mean, I think gray hat close to white. Look, if somebody finds me on TripAdvisor and they book through TripAdvisor, so this is what I've had happening all the time. So now you could just make this fucking same argument. So TripAdvisor always brings up my next available listing for my boat rentals is not until September. I keep on getting all of these bookings for September. Like at first I was just like, yeah, we have bookings for September. And then I realized when I went to the front end that it was bringing up September. The September was in like light gray, and then all of the dates were like dark. And they're just like, yeah, it looks like we had availability. So now I have to constantly call people like every fucking day and be like, hey, listen, it's not for this weekend. It's for next weekend. You need to cancel that booking and then call us and book direct, because they don't have access to our boats. So they can't. I guess maybe that's a very specific situation.
That's perfectly fine. No, that's I'm talking about businesses that
I wouldn't do it to you. I would do it to TripAdvisor all fucking day long, dude. All day fucking long, dude. They're lucky I'm not calling them, dude, and texting them and being like, fuck them, man. I'll give you 10% off and come to me. Look, at the end of the day, the customer service is terrible. So it's like, it's unethical. It's dirty pool. It's not black hat. I would file it under gray hat, in as much as they gray hat us. Like some of the things they could do are semi questionable, you know. Destiny Water Adventures, fucking boom, Groupon. You know what I mean? Oh, file a trademark, fucking refusal with Google. Cool. You know what I mean? Like, well, then I don't know. Don't give me access to their phone number. Like, I feel like they're gaming me. I'm going to game them.
Well, that's a good point. And we talked about this in one of the early episodes. So if you don't want your brand name used on a Google ad, you can file a trademark use claim. It doesn't even have to be a trademark. You just have to show proof that you have rights to your brand name. And usually it takes a week or two to go through the Google channels, but you can file a trademark claim, and that would prevent someone from using your name in their ad copy. Everyone should be doing it. It doesn't cost anything, and that will save you some hassle on that.
So I think, but to that point though, if you have a shitty as an OTA, if you have a shitty partner and you see this happen, you see them canceling the bookings all the time. And then obviously I don't believe you have, you don't have access to our back end like that to see exactly who we have. But if you have someone that's constantly canceling you like on a regular fucking basis, you got to be like, okay, what's going on here? You know what I mean? And then you could probably like secret shop them or do something like that, where you could find out they're doing that and then dissolve the partnership. I file that under gray. It's a business relationship. So it's like, how great is it? You know, how much service are you providing? I don't know. I mean, I guess in your eyes, it's probably a black hat.
Yeah. I mean, we track the cancellation rate for businesses. And if we see it's over 20%, it kind of raises a red flag to us. Like, what's going on? And, some of them are like very weather specific. And I understand the cancellation rate is going to be higher. But I mean, if it's consistently over that, you kind of wonder what's happening. And we all know that there is a portion of business that always gets rebooked direct. Like, I'm not going to cry over that, but it is a problem and for some, but those are not the companies that are going to be using resellers for long term. I mean, it might be just a short term thing. They're trying to figure it out. I've had people, you do it And then they came back and kind of got with the program, just not understanding how it all works.
So this is more like employees like fucking over their employers. But I always wonder, like I caught this the other day. I didn't say shit because I know what happens and I'm not going to fucking break their balls on it. But so since I got GPS on my boat, I saw this boat out and it was like 6:20. And I was like, what the hell did they do? So I wanted to see what time they left. And then an hour, like it was like 5:30, they were supposed to be back at 6. And I saw an action come through where a gratuity was added for $75. They added a 20% gratuity for $75. And then I looked at what time they left and they left on time. So that boat called my call center and was like, hey, if we tip you guys, can we stay out an extra hour? So, but what they don't know is that I just have access to that online tip money. So they'll be like, thanks, dummies. You should have told them cash, you fucking maroons. I would have never saw it. But I always like wonder that, or like late flights, late jet ski tours. Like, are my guides going up there being like, hey, don't, because it's getting to that hour, and then invariably you're gonna have one single jet ski that's gonna want to go out from 6 to 7, one single parasail that wants to go out from 6 to 7. So the crew in the call center, they're all blue class working guys. I used to play that game too, like, oh, please don't book at 6 o'clock, so I'm ready to go to happy hour, shit like that. But I mean, so that's it. It's gonna happen, is what I mean to say. So some of these things, some of them are straight up, you should never fucking do. But I'll tell you what, man, if I were that dude and that lady came, and I feel like that is great headish, her to come out and take like five people and bring this guy's total rating down and smash his company apart with 5 negative reviews. See, I think that's a huge hole in the review policy. That is really, really, really unfair, man, that you're able to go in there and hit with all of these massive reviews. Now, granted, yes, they were all out there, but if the review is a service to the customer to tell them of potential things that could go wrong or holes in a business's game, that gets done with one single review. 5 is fucking malicious. And honestly, if it were me, I probably would have gone and fucked that bitch's business up. That's a fucking fact. I would have. I would have fucking blasted her. I would have gone in and I would have given her 5 bad reviews back, and she's got 17. I would have decimated her ass, because I feel like that's a gaming of the system. So I don't know. So I'm known to put on my black hat from time to time, man. You know what I mean? It is business and it's cutthroat, and I'm a nice guy, and I do anything for my competitors, and I treat everybody like a friend, and I always try to be treated as how I'm treated, and try and do that back and forth. But man, when somebody fucks me over hard like that, whoo, man, I want to get revenge. And then Greg's always got to talk me out of it. I would call Greg up and be like, come on, give me some real black hat secrets, man. I really want to blow this fucker's website up, do something really devious. Direct, I know we talked about that before, direct, but that's like federal. Like you can catch a case for that.
What, denial of service attack?
Yeah, that denial of service attack, like shut someone's website down. Oh, that's another black hat thing you can do, man. And again, same but opposite. You can like flood somebody's website all at one time using micro workers from like Indonesia to fucking shut their website down doing like a peak time. So that actually, that can be done too. There's all sorts of dirty shit in the dark web. When you get in the anals of the internet, and I'm telling you, man, I've spent some time on forums where I'm just like, holy shit, dude, what are these? Man, these guys are fucking bad.
And just to circle back on denial of service stuff, it rarely happens in small businesses. But most websites, they use Cloudflare. And Cloudflare, what it does, it regulates your traffic. So when you start getting a lot of traffic, it kind of absorbs it, so it doesn't shut down your website. And it's free to use, and you pay a little bit more for like the premium. So, but that's what we had to do when we had our issue with, the denial of service attack we got hit with. But we have never had a problem since. But you just never know when these things can happen. It's funny because they'll happen at the weirdest times of the day, or busy times, and then all of a sudden, like, what's wrong?
I think that the end all be all is something I said about a minute ago. Treat people how you expect to be treated. Like, yeah, there's some dirty shit you can go out there and do and get away with it. You can click on people's ads. You can fucking smash them with bad reviews. You can drill holes in their boat, man. Night, night, motherfucker. It always gets talked about. We're going to sink that motherfucker's boat. But at the end of the day, it's like, you know, you don't want to ruin someone's business, man. You know, you want your own business to get ruined, and it will come back on you no matter what. So even if you feel like it's payback, like I say, I go nail them, but I actually had an opportunity where somebody did the same thing to me. They hit me with 3 bad reviews. It was a company outing. I knew the name of the guy's company. I didn't do it. You know, I wanted to. I think about it. I still think about it. I want to go on and write them bad reviews, but you know, at the end of the day, it's just like, whether it be somebody writing an illegit bad review, some bad employee exiting in an unsavory manner, leaving you crappy review or clicking on your ads, whatever it may be. I think the best thing you can always do, and the most successful companies and entrepreneurs do this all the time, is to stay focused on you.
Yeah. What happened to an old fashioned just like punch? Like if you're mad at somebody, why can't you just come over to their location and punch them in the face?
You get me all fired up for a rival.
Why are we weaponizing reviews? It's like that's the new form of punching somebody in the face.
Yeah.
Why can't
what
you just
what did happen to punch people in the face? I like
why can't
that.
you just go over there and choke slam them like that?
Why you just
what happened to that? You know, like let's take
now
them
you
back.
get shot. Everyone wants has a gun. Everyone wants to shoot you. No one wants to go old school and fucking. And
no, they
want to
write. They want to write a bad review. That's what they want to do. Like that's like the new form of shooting somebody.
Keyboard warriors.
I much prefer that. I much prefer the bad reviews than someone actually getting hurt physically.
No,
what? At the same time,
I like to fight. I agree with you, man. Like I agree with you. Like, and hey, man, that shit happened. Like, look,
I'm actually going to walk back what I said. Why can't we have an old-fashioned argument? An old-fashioned argument. Go over there and say, "Hey, what's up?" Like, why
it was shocking
to me
that suggestion came from you and not from me.
I was just reading. I was just reading what you were going on in your head. But
definitely.
But seriously though, like, why can't people just pick up the phone and say, "Hey, let's just bury the hatchet and figure." But the thing is, with most of these bad reviews, it's hard to really know that your competitor's doing that, right? Hiding behind a computer.
How are you going to bury the hatchet with somebody that wants to do it in your fucking head? You know what I mean? If somebody wants to put you out of business because they see you as a threat to their business, like there's no, like, I mean, if you're doing that type of shit, then clearly you see that person as a threat, and something's happening where they're metaphorically kicking your ass. They're kicking your ass in the market, because if you have to resort to those kind of tactics against your competitors, then they're clearly fucking winning. And maybe instead of worrying about black hatting and doing dirty shit to them, you need to figure out what they're doing right and emulate that, because it's probably not black hat tactics and doing all this bullshit. They just are on top of their digital marketing game. Their customer service is on point. You know, it's like, and we can take it right to the beginning of the thing. Like I think I said at the beginning, I was like, fuck, how many, you know, like I said about old Justin, you know, it's like, fuck, the guy's got 1,500 reviews and 1 bad one. And it was probably, I didn't even read the bad one typically. Typically, I go and see what the bad, but it's just like, whoever that one person was, they're a fucking anomaly, dude. Because whatever that kid's doing, he's doing it right. And the product that he's putting out there is fucking super awesome. You know, like, that's just, it's runaway success shit like that you have to be completely focused on, and not figuring out how you can game the system. That's my 2 cents. And yes, punching people in the fucking face that want to start shit. Don't start nothing, won't be nothing. You got the hat on, man. I got it tattooed on my neck. Greg's wearing this fire-ass Detroit hat. I fucking love it. What's the TR capitalized for?
It's actually a mixing board logo, the TR mixing boards.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a dope hat.
And it's
like that.
It's a little shop I stopped at in Detroit, my friend's bachelor party. I got the shirt too, but now I don't fit in it anymore.
Yeah. You can't see it because of the sunburn on my neck, but I had a red D, the Old English D, tattooed on the back of my neck. And that's how you know not to fuck with a motherfucker, man. The Old English D. He's trouble.
Yeah.
Not me. I'm a teddy bear.
Well,
I think that's it, man. Unless you got anything more, man. Don't be a dick.
No. I mean, there's a lot of stuff.
There's more dirty internet tricks we missed.
We covered the basics. What the whole point of this is that I don't want people to think like, now I got like more tools in my box to go after people. The whole idea is to understand what's out there and how to protect your business.
Yeah.
And also rise above it. honestly, like Kevin said, I agree 100%. If someone's doing crap like that to you, that means that you're doing something right, and you need to keep doing it and not focus on it. I used to focus hard on those little things, bad reviews, when I felt like the guy that was clicking on my ads, and I got off of all that. Now I don't have time to even deal with it. You know, I'm just so focused on building my business and growing. And
and you can focus on your business and continue to grow by listening to our podcast, by following our group, and by coming to Arrival for our water sports event. That's how you can listen and grow, by hanging out with dope motherfuckers like us. And listen, I had this offer out to everybody. Anybody that wants to go to a bar and start a scuffle or a fight, I'm staying sober. I'm looking to kick some ass. I want to go out and I want to get crazy at Arrival and see all of you guys getting all like fucked up and drunk, and I'll be your designated driver and designated fighter. I got your back.
Perfect.
Good plug for Arrival. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Arrival. I'm not going to do that. You know I'm all bluster.
Well, just furthermore, get your tickets, go to our pre-event. It's only an extra $50 until July 16th. We got open bar, we got networking, roundtables, got us there. It's going to be
us. That's the main reason you want to come, is for us, because we keep on saying like we're going to figure out how to go live from there, right? And do a show from there.
Yeah, we're going to do it.
It's so weird because we don't ever see each other live.
No,
that's me reaching out for you.
You're funny.
Coming in for a hug. You're funny.
I'm going for a stretch. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. And as always, keep it awkward.
You've been listening to the Awkward Watersport Guys podcast. If you're in the water sport industry, this is the podcast that brings the business perspective to parasailing, jet and ski boat rentals, sailing, snorkeling, and everything else. We hope you've gotten some useful and practical information from this show. Be sure to sign up to our email list at watersportpodcast.com and subscribe in your favorite podcast app. We'll see you next time, and thanks for listening.